Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and I am no joke totally amped about reading what the heck is going on in Kaldheim because, Vikings and whatever. Cool. The cards kind of look not great for standards, so the only thing we have left is the lore and the story, which I'm always more into than the actual gameplay. Now, don't take the fact that I don't know crap about the lore past about 4 years ago as a signal that I don't care about the lore. It's just I haven't been playing the game that long. Which is probably the number one misconception about my channel. In fact, in the interview with Edwin and Open Boosters, I just about made their heads explode when I said that I've only been playing Magic since 2013. They're like, what? Everybody just looks at like 31 million views and 50k subs and they're like, well, he's been playing for 20 years along with everybody else that's big in the Magic community. Nope. Technically, I've been playing D&D twice as long as Magic. But anyway, enough about me. Let's answer the question, what the crap are the Phyrexians doing here? That's about 75% of what I'm interested in the lore so far. And the other 25% is fake Loki. So let's jump into my extremely serious and accurate take on the storyline, with no jokes or alterations added whatsoever, because this is the Desolator Magic channel. We don't do that here. So episode 1 is titled Travelers, and then in parentheses, oh, do you mean the Phyrexians? By the way, this is written by Roy Graham with contributions from Jenna Helland, and I don't know who Roy Graham is, but he's got a picture of himself and his golden retriever as his profile picture, so this could literally be written by like a mentally deranged chimpanzee with the worst grammar I've seen in my life, and he still gets a 5 out of 10 for the dog. Also, he writes for Motherboard, so that's cool. The dog, not Roy Graham. The dog writes for Motherboard. So it opens with, they came in ships like nothing the villagers of Silverglade had seen before. Long and trim, inscribed with tales of glorious battle and cunning victory, gliding over the waves like the drakes and serpents carved into their prows. Which are, by the way, not bolus horns. They were nothing like the meager fishing boats which provided the sole source of food for the village now that they could no longer go into the forest. Frickin' COVID lockdowns, they can't even go for a walk in the forest. So the people of Silverglade saw them, the people on the ships, and they were like, hey, they don't look half starving and half dead. I'll be honest with you though, if I had to eat nothing but fish for the rest of my life, I mean, if I even had to choose a category, it would probably be fish. But the most noteworthy person on the boat was an old man, aka a graybeard, who had a raven on his shoulder. Birds are important to this storyline. And it says the type of armor they were wearing was, heavy but not too heavy in case they fell off the ship. It wouldn't drag them to the bottom of the sea immediately. Kind of implying that happens once in a while, which is hilarious. Did you know that pandas are so fat, slow, and uncoordinated that they fall out of trees all the time in the wild and in captivity because they're just awful at climbing and they're just awful at existing? Seriously, look it up. Pandas are the most defective creature that we have on planet Earth. So I guess they've adapted to be really fluffy, fat, and, shock absorbing, I guess, for lack of a better term, because they just know they're going to fall out of trees once in a while. So I assume that they threw this part in the story about their armor not being too heavy to sink to the bottom of the ocean because it happens every other day, which means they're probably alcoholics. Anyway, the people on the shore are like, omen seekers. That's who they are. Yeah, they're weak. I mean, have you seen blue creature stats? All those mystical, whatever. They can hit for 1. I mean, come on. You could take them. If it gets violent, you could take them. Even half-starving village people could take out the color blue as a whole. But apparently they're there for peace because the Herseer, whoever that is, invited them into the long haul for as much of a meal as they could scrape together. So probably fish, and more fish. I mean, who doesn't love a good old fish buffet? I mean, come on. But they declined. They just went right to the point and said, when did the disappearances start? So Ingarunais is the blind leader of the people who showed up on the boat, I guess. To which one of the village women replied, they ain't disappearances, they're moidas. They've been moided, I tell ya. So then they all start arguing about, well, we haven't found any bodies, we don't know it's a murder, and blah, 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 and But then one of them comes back with, yeah, but the hunters saw it. And they're like, saw what? And they're like, okay, let's tell the story. So after getting up the bravery to speak, this 16-year-old hunter dude is like, it's a monster. It was definitely a monster. Thanks, Hunter Kid. That's very useful. So Blind Lady is like, okay, get everybody off the boats. Just leave a skeleton crew on the boat so that these village douchebags don't steal them. I mean, they didn't say that, but come on. And we're going to go with the ass-beating party into the forest and we're going to beat some ass. And then the village people, oh, pardon me, I misread that. It was only the construction worker and the Indian. They said, and is your guest coming with us? And they motioned to This one lady just kind of chilling at the docks away from everybody, and blind lady McRoon Eyes, I forgot her name, says, "Oh, Kaya? Oh, this is all her idea in the first place." Because she's a stone cold killer, and also she wants enough XP to level up. So legit, the explanation is she's like, yeah, she's gonna go kill the monster because that's what heroes do, and she's supposed to be a hero now. And also, it pays. There's like a bounty out on the creature, so, you know, girl's gotta make a living. I hate to break it to you, Kaya, but, I mean, you're getting paid in fish, let's be honest. I'd still do it, but, you know. Didn't she just come from dealing with the Orzhov? I think she wants currency. Although I doubt that there's an interplanar currency that's the same everywhere. You go bring some weird, funny-looking coins to a different plane, they're going to be like, what is that, and can I melt it? Now, fish are universal because they're universally tasty. Oh, this is funny. I actually didn't read this yet before I said that. It says, but anonymous coin minted from half a dozen different planes was hard to argue with, and as an added benefit, it seemed nice and simple. Nothing like that messy business on Ravnica. I'm not even sure what they mean there, but at least they mentioned it. So apparently there is an interplanar currency that's got nobody's face on it. That's kind of funny, actually. So everything was going to plan, except that Kaya didn't count on the wilderness being so ... wild. I kid you not, that is an actual sentence in the story. Kaya was used to the solidity of cobblestones underfoot, the press of a crowd around her. Okay, first of all, shouldn't she be, like, slinking in the quiet shadows quietly? Like, isn't that her thing? And secondly, they sent a city girl out to the forest to kill a forest beast, really? By the way, isn't she not from Ravnica? Like, she stopped there, but I think, wasn't she originally on Battle Bond plane? And then, I don't know. I don't remember the lore that well. So the old guy with the raven, his name is Assi, or Asi, or whatever, ASI, whatever that is. So anyway, she asks Assi, hey, why is the forest so quiet? Like, I've been in tombs that are livelier. And he's like, that's because you fight ghosts. Oh, sick burn, the old man gotcha. But they finally do admit that it's kind of weird to not see any squirrels or birds or anything. Like, they kind of know to avoid this place. So one of the younger Omen speakers suggests that they perhaps are tracking Saruth, the Dreadwolf, the Realm Eater. I actually got the same nickname, the Realm Eater, after I polished off 7 plates at the Chinese buffet and they started giving me dirty looks. They said something in Chinese and I pulled up my translation app and they named me the Realm Eater. Destroyer of worlds and peanut butter chicken. And then Kaya's just like, a wolf? Really? I mean, they literally just called it the Dreadwolf, the Realm Eater, and he has like a name, not just, oh, it's a big wolf. His name is Sarilf, and she's like, a wolf? That's what has you jumping at every snowflake. To which he replies, Sarilf is no ordinary animal. He is one of the Cosmos monsters, which those guys sound pretty cool. The Cosmos monsters were created at the birth of the world, dwelling in the void between realms, and apparently also forests. But Asi's like, no, dude. He don't sneak around in the shadows and, like, you know, not be seen. Like, if he was here, we'd know it, because he'd be like, you know, hi, I'm rolling into the village loud and proud, and I'm going to eat all your peanut butter chicken. So then, out of the silence comes a black raven that circles around them, and Kaya gets all of her weapons ready, and then Asi's like, oh, it's Haka, he's back. Cool. So then Haka lands on his shoulder and starts, like, whispering in his ear, and then he's like, yes, our bird may have found us a lead. Thumbs up for Haka. So they take the bird's advice and end up at a cave because, you know, monsters are always in caves. Oh, and besides that, there was a streak of blood and dirt leading into the cave. So that's a dead giveaway. So the cave that they're now entering should have been just regular rock, but they noticed some kind of weird, like, mineral on the walls that did, like, a weird fractally lattice work, so that's a bit odd. So finally, they come across the monster, and it's doing something very unusual to a dead bear. It's not really eating it, it's just got its arms, like, stuffed inside of it. So they describe what it looks like, but, you know, it's the Phyrexian guy. It's, what's-his-face. So it made a roar that was, like, an imitation of a bear's roar, and it kind of had, like, different hues of bear fur on it, like it was kind of absorbing the creatures that it attacked, which is very odd. And as soon as it saw them, it charged them. So the Omen speakers, one of which already just died instantly from a clot of the face, they surrounded it, even though they're not really warriors, and started poking it with spears and axes and stuff, but every time they would slash it and leave a wound, it would just heal right up. Except one particularly deep one, instead of healing up, tendrils came, you know, flying out of it and tried to pull the one of the warriors into its wound, which is creepy as hell. But Kaya severed the tendrils, saving the warrior. So she thought, okay, stabbing it with weapons, probably not going to work. She has to go deeper. We have to go deeper, like Leonardo DiCaprio in that Inception meme. That's who was in that movie, right? Literally just watched it last week. So Inga, as it was about to pounce on another warrior, trapped it in a little bit of blue stasis magic. No matter how big you are, blue's coming for that ass, just saying. And then Kaya thought, hey, if it's in stasis, that's a good time for stabby time. Now, I don't know how Kaya's magic works, but it just says Kaya lunged forward, her dagger vibrating with magic, and swiped straight through the monster's trapped arm. Oh, because only one arm was trapped. I forgot to say that. Lopping it off at the shoulder. Flesh, bone, spirit. If it could be severed, she had severed it. Were you just not using dagger magic before? I'm not sure she actually stabbed the creature earlier. I think it was just the other folks. I don't know. I don't know how her powers work. I assume she was gonna like grab the spirit out of the big old creature, kick it in the balls, and then stuff it back in and see what happens. I assume her powers work something like that. So then the creature absorbed the dead omen speaker that it had stabbed in the face before and immediately started to regrow another arm. Okay, fine, I finally looked it up. So Vorinclex was very mad at Kaya now for cutting off his arm, so it charged at her. So she ducked the first swipe and then turned into ghost form, so the second swipe went right through her, which that would probably frustrate Vorinclex a bit. But she couldn't just use her magic to dodge. She had to channel her magic into her daggers to at least temporarily cause it some damage, and hopefully it would not be able to heal with less things to absorb to heal, I guess. Just as he had her backed up to the cave wall, another stasis spell trapped one of its claws. Oh, they're being cast from the cool lantern thing that they were carrying with them that shone blue light. I guess the blue light's like stasis magic or something cool. And also a convenient light source for dark caves. Why shouldn't it do both? So then, because tactics, the monster tore off its own arm. So she used her powers to phase back into the cave wall itself, which apparently is not something she's happy about doing because it was very difficult and uncomfortable. And then she kind of came out a couple feet to the monster's left. Yeah, Kaya, we actually all hate phasing, so I'm right there with you. Suddenly, Vorinclex was distracted by a loud thundering voice that bellowed, "Enough!" And it was distracted enough that she took a slice and cut one of his legs off. Kaya was interested in what the heck was going on, so she looked over at Assy, but this time his hood was thrown back, and from his eyes spilled a strange light illuminating the cave walls, a shifting pattern of greens and blues and purples. So then he followed it up with, "Never have I seen such filth dare to desecrate these realms. Even the demons of Immersturm are not so foul." So Kaya noticed that it was kind of, recoiling and a little bit noticeably wounded now, because it, had 3 remaining legs and, I don't know, 1 arm missing or what. I'm not sure how many it had to begin with, to be perfectly honest. So it threw itself at Kaya again, but this time she was ready and it was slowing down a little bit. She could get it on the next pass for sure. 1 clean swipe through its neck should do it. Suddenly the monster crashed into nothing. It stumbled back, then hurled its weight forward again. I assume they mean that she phased out and it went through her. Oh, no, that's not what they meant. It says it stumbled back, then hurled its weight forward again. There was a deep thrum and the air rippled where it made contact. A magical barrier, realized Kaya, and a damn strong one at that. Even she would have trouble phasing through that. She turned and saw that Assy was the source of the barrier. So Vorinclex looked at her, then looked at Assy, then said, "Screw it, I'm out of here," and turned to flee. "Wait," shouted Kaya. "Stop it." But it was too late. Loping forward with that strange 3-legged gait, the monster ran straight for a section of the cave wall where all the fungal metal, I guess that's what the weird crystal stuff was, seemed to be spreading from. Without slowing, it threw its body into the silvery surface. Rather than stopping or colliding with the cave, it seemed to sink into the metal as if it were a thick and viscous liquid. I knew it! Vorinclex was the Terminator the whole time. It's made out of that liquid metal stuff. So Inga, the blind lady, Rune Eyes, whatever, turns and says, "All ruined. I had heard sagas, of course, but I never thought." And he's like, "Oh yeah, hey Inga, yeah, it suits us from time to time to travel in mortal guise. Just so we can see what y'all doing without y'all seeing what we're doing, Gotta keep it on the DL, gotta keep it chill, otherwise you gotta sign a bunch of autographs." So Kaya, not really knowing who All Ruined is like, "Hey, you let it get away. What the crap?" And he just sits there for a second like, "Okay, most people don't talk to me like that." So then she continued, "Man, we weakened it, and the next time it's going to know that we're coming and be ready for us, because it's not as dumb as it looked." And he's like, "You intend to pursue it further even after seeing what it's capable of?" And she just replies with, "Job's not done and I've already been paid." But oh no, it wasn't just professional courtesy, as she puts it in the greatest statement in the story. That thing was dangerous, and she started to suspect, not from around here. But that didn't make sense. Did planeswalkers come in that shade of ugly? I betcha Roy Graham's dog wrote that line. It seems like something a dog would write. So Alrune says the beast has already fled Beretagard. You cannot track it by normal means. It moves between the realms as the Cosmos monsters do. Maybe they should sick the Cosmos monsters on it. You think that big-ass, city-sized snake can't swallow it whole? Come on. That thing can carve tunnels in the ground that would make Elon Musk jealous. So then Kaya's just like straight up, well, you let it escape, so you tell me how to track it. So Alrune simply replies, I'm gonna have to talk it over with my kin. There are too many riddles which need answering, but if you are set on pursuing the creature, the longship of Cosima will aid you in this quest. I will see to it. Can the longship of Cosima travel to another realm? Well, it might, because it says Kaya heard more than a few gasps from the Omen Seekers. Cosima. Well, that ship was featured in just about every prayer that they'd made while at sea. Maybe it's like the Flying Dutchman or something. You will find it docked in Silverglade or something like that upon your return. Oh yeah, that's Fishville. And then it reminds her the ship is selective about its passengers, but it will keep you safe in your journey between realms. Oh, it is a realm teleporting superboat. And then Kaya's like, yeah, I don't know how to sail, so like, what's going on there? And he's like, oh, follow the light of Starnheim, okay? Atop the branches, or the highest branches of the world tree, it will guide you along whatever path you are meant to walk. Why don't he just like hand over something like the Dragon Ball radar from Dragon Ball Z? Here, it's a Vorinclex detector. There you go. So Kaya's all like, oh, gods and their riddles. Just once she'd like a straightforward answer. Although, how did she somehow now know that he's a god? Because she didn't a second ago, and it didn't distinctly say that the boat gave it away, I don't know, maybe the whole time she did know that he was God and she's just rude, I don't know. So Alrune's just like, okay, I gotta go, and then he basically casts like dimensional door on the edge of the cave, or the wall, and then he just like walks through the door. Hey, if you could do that, why don't you follow Vorinclex? Just saying. Oh, on the way through the door, though, he says, Ingarunais and Kaya Far Traveler. I fear the arrival of this creature is an omen, a sign of terrible things to come. In all my auguries, I see death and destruction throughout Kaldheim. I fear a Doomscar approaches, one unlike any in living memory. Doomscar is when two of the realms kind of smack into each other, by the way. I guess there's like cosmic wind making the cosmic tree cosmically, swing some of the branches around. I completely just made that up. But I don't know, I just heard that the Doomscar is when two realms smash into each other, so yeah. So Kaya's all like, what's a Doomscar? Then Inga's like, a collision of the realms. And with it, inevitably comes war and chaos, a time of great suffering. Probably because all the other realms are a bunch of violent, evil jackasses, especially the elves, who are notoriously xenophobic and racist. Then you got, what else? Dwarves, goblins, trolls, they're all dicks. Just like a Torbrand, he should be executed for existing. Maybe Kaya should call in the Gatewatch, because then they'll come and screw it all up. So that's it for this chapter. So Vorinclex is there, we're not sure why, and maybe it has something to do with a Doomscar, or whatever it's called. I already scrolled up. Interesting. I do wonder how and why just one Phyrexian is there, but from the spoilers we saw so far, and you know that they're going to leave like the most surprising ones for the end, and Mark Rosewater did say that there is a card that kills people with poison. Just saying. Now, we've already seen Vorinclex, and it's not him. Although, the way he phrased it, he could mean that, one of the cards in Kaldheim kills you with poison, but not within Kaldheim and not within Standard, because Vorinclex is like a counter replicator. The problem is it doubles the counters going on you and cuts in half the ones going on opponents, so actually it would like solve the poison problem. So I don't know, I can't get those two to mesh, so that means that something with poison is somewhere, yet to be revealed in the set. So yeah, I'm kind of worried about that. The fact that so many paper cards have leaked and none of them involved like infect or poison counters, though, I don't know. If there's just one card and it does something with poison counters and it's really, really slow, like it's like a 10 turns and you die thing or whatever, okay, whatever. I hate alternate win cons. I'm worried about what it'll do outside of Standard, but everybody in Modern is already sick to their ass of the ridiculous infect decks. But, not my format, not my problem. I just think they shouldn't go anywhere near infect ever again. But we'll see. Hopefully Kaya kills the living crap out of Vorinclex and we never have to deal with his crap again. I have the weirdest feeling that like they're in the last chapter gonna set up like, and then the second Praetor showed up. That other one was almost definitely fake because of the artwork they used, although I wouldn't put it past Wizards of the Coast to just find fan artwork and be like, well, you already drew it, and then just, license it, just buy it from them. I mean, people are neglecting to mention that. So it could be that other Praetor lady, Elish Norn. Either that or somebody bothered to actually print out or cleverly Photoshop a fake physical card. I mean, both are equally likely in my opinion. But yeah, I think that another of the Praetors is going to show up at the end the same way that Vorinclex did. And then they're just going to leave it at that and be like, well, Kaldheim is in trouble. And then just, well, we'll see you in Return to Kaldheim in 3 years. Either that or I could see Kaya following Vorinclex back, like back tracing him to where he came from and then landing in whatever the Phyrexians' new homeworld is or whatever. Or, I don't know. Did theirs get destroyed? Or I think they're on a new one or they converted one. I don't know. That lore is, I haven't read up on it. But we do know that Karn had mentioned, like, 5-6 sets back that he's like, I'm going to find the Silex, which is the big bowl of crack it and blow up a realm, or a good portion of a realm, Urza's Ruinous Blast, just saying. And I'm going to use it to, go to the Phyrexians' realm and spike it on the ground, basically. That was kind of implied. And blow up all the Phyrexians, because that's my job. He really doesn't like the Phyrexians, so his, mission of, I'm with the Gatewatch or whatever, but I'm going to go blow up the Phyrexians, that was stated at the very end of one of the other storylines. I don't remember exactly which. I think it was before the Return to Ravnica. I thought it was actually at the end of, Hour of Devastation or most likely Dominaria, if I remember correctly. So we're overdue for that. I mean, I don't think they just left it open-ended and then had no intention in the future because they plan out the lore 3 years ahead of time to go battle the Phyrexians. So I think now that we've seen one of them, we're well on the way to, that. The thing is, though, we already know it's coming out this year. It's a Hogwarts, aka Strixhaven, which Mark Rosewater is already all giddy over, making statements about how absolute shit it's going to be. His exact words were something like, we're stretching play design to its limit with this one, which just sounds like a complete and utter disaster waiting to happen. Then we got the D&D one, which would be weird if it involved Phyrexians. And then we've got, we're going back to Innistrad for werewolves and vampires, which probably don't have anything to do with the Phyrexians. And then, this already leaked 2 years ago or whatever, or 2 years ahead of time, Return to Future Space Japan Kamigawa. That's going to be early 2022. And none of the artwork or leaked story that I saw from that had anything to do with them. So hopefully in mid-2022, we're going to see Karn versus the Phyrexians. Although, like I said, I'm in no rush to see the Phyrexians in Standard again. No thanks. So maybe they're holding off on that, but anytime after 2022, we're reaching the limits of what they would have planned ahead of time too, as far as what they said at, I believe, the end of Dominaria. So I don't know. It's just now we've got one of the Praetors here, and we know for a fact that until mid-2022, we're not going to see them again unless they keep showing up in other realms and they kill the Praetors one at a time or something. I don't know. I wouldn't mind that. Hey, whatever. So that's what we know. The story is going to interesting places, and I can't wait to cover Chapter 2, which is probably going to be posted tomorrow or something. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys next video.